There's a reason rooms change when you Leo walk in. A shift in energy so subtle yet undeniable eyes turn conversations pause, and even those who pretend not to notice feel you. It's not about looks, style, or words. It's something far older, far deeper, a pulse that belongs to the sun itself, ancient, commanding, uncontainable. This is the gift you were born with, the one they secretly envy. But let's be honest, you've known it since you were a child, that magnetic pull you had without trying. That strange combination of admiration and discomfort you awakened in others. Maybe you thought it was your imagination, the whispers, the glances, the feeling of being too much for the world around you. But it wasn't. It was the price of being born with light in a world that fears brightness. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to stand out. Yet somewhere along the way, you started to dim your fire just enough to make others comfortable. You laughed softer, you shared less, you made yourself smaller because you noticed something the moment you fully shone, the world grew uneasy. And that's where the story begins, in that fragile balance between your brilliance and the shadows it casts. People often say they envy your success. No, Leo. They envy something far deeper, your essence. They envy the way you walk into chaos and create order, the way you love loudly, dream boldly, and refuse to fake who you are. They envy the confidence that doesn't need validation, because your presence reminds them of what they've buried inside themselves, the courage to be authentic. But here's the paradox. Your light is both a blessing and a mirror. It shows others who they could be, and that reflection hurts. So they call you arrogant when you're just certain. They call you dramatic when you're just expressive. They call you self-centered when you're just self-aware. And every time they mislabel your truth, you wonder, maybe I am too much. Maybe my fire burns too hot. No, Leo, your fire is not too much. It's exactly what this world needs right now. Raw, honest, unfiltered courage. There's a divine resin you were chosen to carry the energy of the sun. The sun doesn't apologize for shining. It rises every day, even when the clouds pretend to ignore it. Its light doesn't beg to be understood, it simply is. And you, Leo, are the same. You've been tested, doubted, underestimated, and yet every single time you rise again. That's the thing they can't comprehend. You don't shine because life is easy. You shine despite it. The world may have tried to tame your roar, to convince you that your voice was too loud, your dreams too unrealistic, your heart too big. But your silence never saved anyone. Your authenticity did. Your energy did. And whether they admit it or not, Leo, they feel safer when you're strong. They feel braver when you're real. They feel alive when you're you. That's why they envy you, because your very existence exposes their hesitation. Your fire reminds them that they too could ignite, if only they stopped hiding. So tonight, I want you to remember something essential. Their envy is not a curse. It's confirmation. It means you've awakened something inside them. You've touched a nerve that only truth can touch. And that truth is your light, the gift you were born with, the one they tried to dim. But not anymore. Because this time, Leo, you won't shrink. This time you'll rise not to prove a point, but to fulfill a purpose. Life lesson, your light was never meant to be comfortable. It was meant to be contagious. Comment below if you've ever felt the energy in the room change when you entered, because you, Leo, carry the kind of presence that can't be ignored. Part 1, The Hidden Light. The story of a Leo's light never begins in adulthood. It begins the moment they arrive in this world with eyes too alive, a laugh too radiant, and a spirit that refuses to go unnoticed. Even as a child, you probably heard it, didn't you? Why do you always have to be the center of attention? Tone it down. Stop showing off. But deep down, you weren't trying to show off. You were trying to exist. There's something about Leo energy that commands attention without seeking it. It's not ego, it's elemental. Just as fire doesn't apologize for warmth, Leo doesn't apologize for presence. You walk into a room and the air changes because your energy is alive. It's ancient royal solar. And that is precisely what triggers envy. People sense that radiance long before they can define it. They may not understand astrology, but they feel it. Your courage, your voice, your sense of self. It intimidates them because it exposes what they lack certainty. You've probably experienced this in small, ordinary moments. At work, you speak with confidence. Suddenly, someone rolls their eyes. In your friend group, you celebrate a win and the tone shifts. At family gatherings, you share your excitement and the conversation grows quiet. That's envy in its purest, most silent form. It's not always malicious. Sometimes it's confusion, people wondering why you move through life as if you know something they don't. But you do. You know who you are. And that's the rarest knowledge of all. Most people spend their entire lives searching for identity. You were born with it coded into your soul. The Leo heart doesn't ask, "Who am I?" It declares, "This is who I am." Your confidence comes from instinct, not arrogance. It's the sun's way of remembering itself through you. But in a world that rewards modesty to the point of invisibility, your natural assurance is misunderstood. They envy not your possessions or your looks, but your sense of being complete. Have you ever noticed how people gravitate toward you when they need clarity, advice, or strength, but disappear when you need the same? That's the paradox of the sun. Everyone wants its warmth, but few remember to ask if it's tired. And yet Leo keeps giving, even when unappreciated, even when misunderstood, because generosity is your nature and love is your instinct. But there comes a moment in every Leo's journey when the giving begins to hurt. When you realize your kindness has been mistaken for weakness, your confidence for pride, and your authenticity for arrogance. That's the moment the doubt creeps in, the dangerous whisper, "Maybe I should be less." Comment if you've ever felt you had to shrink your personality just to make others comfortable. The silent shadow. Let's talk about envy in its truest form. It's not always loud or obvious. It's subtle, polite, and disguised as advice. Maybe you should be more humble. Not everyone likes confidence. Don't make everything about you. Those words aren't feedback. They're containment. They're attempts to keep your fire manageable. Because when you shine too brightly, people must confront their own dimness, and that's uncomfortable. It's easier to call your flame dangerous than to light their own candle. I once met a Leo woman, an artist vibrant and kind. Every time she shared her work, her so-called friends would respond with faint smiles and phrases like, "That's nice," or "You're lucky to have that kind of confidence." Weeks later, she stopped painting. When I asked why, she said, "They made me feel guilty for being proud." That's what envy does. It doesn't attack. It drains. It teaches you to question your joy. But the truth is, Leo joy is your rebellion. Every time you laugh without permission, every time you love without fear, every time you walk into a room like you belong there, you're breaking the unspoken rules of smallness that the world lives by. And yes, that's going to make people uncomfortable, but it also makes you unforgettable. Envy isn't your enemy, it's your mirror. It shows you where your light reaches. It confirms that your presence matters. Life lesson. Envy is not proof that you're wrong, it's proof that you're radiant. Have you ever noticed how your happiness can change the atmosphere around you? Comment if this resonates. The emotional toll. Here's the part few talk about: the weight of being admired and envied at the same time. You give love easily. You forgive quickly. You see the best in people even when they've shown you the worst. That's your power and your curse. Because while you're out there pouring sunshine into everyone else, few think to ask, who's warming Leo? The truth is, being the light can get lonely. When you're strong, people assume you don't need support. When you're confident, they assume you never doubt yourself. When you're radiant, they forget you also bleed. And sometimes, Leo, you've cried in silence, not because you lost something, but because you felt unseen for giving everything. Maybe you've been the friend who always listens, but when you finally needed to speak, no one was there. Maybe you've been the partner who lifted someone through darkness, only to have them resent you for shining too brightly. Maybe you've been the leader who inspired others to succeed, only to hear whispers that you were too demanding or too confident. Each time it chipped away at your fire. Each time you wondered if maybe they were right. But here's the truth. Your spirit isn't heavy because you're wrong. It's heavy because you're carrying everyone else's insecurities. People project their fears onto the brightest souls. They see your courage and feel their own hesitation. They see your self-love and feel their own lack. They see your vision and feel their own confusion. And so they envy not because you took something from them, but because you remind them of everything they abandoned within themselves. You see, Leo, your light is ancestral. It's not new. It's a continuation of thousands of suns that have burned before you. And every time you choose not to hide, you heal a lineage of people who were told to stay small. You are not just shining for yourself, you are shining for everyone who was ever told, don't be too much. Life lesson, your light carries history. When you shine, you liberate more than just yourself. Comment, I honor my light, if you've ever been told you were too much, but chose to shine anyway. So now, Leo, as we move forward, I want you to reflect on this. Every time someone envied you, it wasn't a punishment, it was an initiation. A test to see if you'd choose to stay radiant, even when surrounded by shadow. Because your journey isn't about dimming your flame to survive. It's about learning to burn brighter and transform envy into enlightenment. Next, we'll dive into Part 2, the fire that transforms everything. This is where Leo stops apologizing for their fire and starts using it to light the world. Part 2. The fire that transforms everything. Every Leo reaches a turning point. That moment when you stop asking why others envy you and start realizing that envy is proof of your impact. For years, you may have mistaken jealousy for rejection, when in truth, it was confirmation that your energy was shifting people at a level they weren't ready for. Because Leo, you don't just walk into people's lives, you rearrange them. You awaken ambition where there was complacency. You bring fire where there was routine. You make people feel alive again, and that kind of influence can't go unnoticed. But that gift has a cost. The same fire that warms others also burns you when you forget to protect it. You've given so much light that sometimes you've dimmed your own flame trying to make sure no one gets burned. Yet deep down, you know the truth. You were never meant to be a candle in someone else's darkness. You were meant to be the sun. Reclaiming the fire. Think back to the moments when they misunderstood you. The job where your passion was labeled too intense. The relationship where your honesty was called too direct. The friends who whispered that you always needed to be in control. It wasn't control you sought. It was clarity. It wasn't dominance. It was direction. You were trying to lead to inspire, to ignite something bigger. But those who haven't yet discovered their own light will always misread the language of fire. I remember a Leo man I once interviewed, brilliant, driven, the kind of person who lit up every meeting. He told me something unforgettable. They envied how confident I was, but they never saw how much doubt I had to conquer to get there. That's what people never see, isn't it? They see your courage, but not your battle. They see your crown, but not the scars it hides. The courage you carry wasn't inherited, it was earned. Every time you chose authenticity over approval, truth over comfort, integrity over convenience, you built that light. You've fought invisible wars, Leo, and still you rise. That's why they envy you. Because while most people wait for permission, you create your own destiny. Life lesson: your confidence is not arrogance. It's evidence of everything you've survived. Have you ever felt like your success made others uncomfortable, but you knew deep down it was your destiny? Comment if that resonates with your story. The solar responsibility. Here's the part that only the wise Leos discover: your light is not just for you, it's for the world. Astrologically, Leo is ruled by the sun, the only celestial body that doesn't orbit anything else. Everything else revolves around it. That's not coincidence, it's symbolism. You were born to lead not because you demand attention, but because your energy naturally organizes chaos. Leadership is not about standing above others, it's about standing within your truth so fully that others find their courage through you. That's the sacred responsibility of Leo energy, to remind humanity what purpose looks like when lived with heart. You are the flame that teaches others how to shine without shame. There's an ancient story about Sekhmet, the Egyptian lion goddess. She was created from the sun itself, a being of immense fire, sent to restore balance to a world that had lost its truth. Her roar could destroy illusions and awaken courage. But when her fire was misused, even she had to learn control, how to channel her strength, not through destruction, but through compassion. That's the path of every Leo. You are not here to overpower, you are here to enlighten. You're learning that true strength is not loud, it's luminous. It's the calm power that walks into a room and changes it without words. And when you embody that balance, heart and fire united, you stop triggering fear and start awakening admiration. That's when envy begins to transform into inspiration. Life lesson: true leadership isn't about shining alone. It's about awakening light in others. Have you ever noticed that people who once envied you eventually come back inspired by your resilience? Comment if you've seen that transformation happen. Transformation and legacy. This is where everything changes, Leo, because now you no longer see envy as opposition. You see it as alchemy. When people envy you, they're not trying to destroy you, they're trying to understand how you do it, how you keep moving forward when others would quit, how you stay kind after betrayal, how you continue to rise again and again, no matter how many times the world misunderstands your heart. That mystery, the way you fall and stand stronger each time, is what they can't copy. The truth is, Leo envy is only the first stage. First they envy, then they question, finally they are inspired. You've already lived this. Remember the colleague who criticized you for being too ambitious but later asked for your advice. Remember the friend who tried to compete with you but eventually admitted your success gave them courage. That's the transformation your energy causes. You don't just shine, you convert. You turn comparison into motivation, doubt into faith, insecurity into action. Because your fire doesn't just illuminate, it purifies. It burns away the false and leaves only truth. And through it all, you've learned a profound wisdom. You can't be both universal light and universally liked. Some people will always misinterpret your warmth as arrogance, your generosity as manipulation, your confidence as ego. But the ones who truly belong in your orbit, they won't feel threatened by your shine. They'll feel ignited by it. Those are your people, the ones who don't compete with your light, but celebrate under it. When you find them, Leo, it feels like home, because those souls remind you that your brightness was never the problem, it was the invitation. Life lesson: you were not born to fit in. You were born to remind the world what the sun feels like. Comment "I choose to shine" if this message resonates with your spirit. The crown of fire. Conclusion. So Leo, what happens when you stop apologizing for being light itself? What happens when you finally understand that envy was never your punishment, but your initiation? You stop shrinking. You stop seeking approval. You stop negotiating your worth with people who have yet to recognize their own. You start leading with heart again. You start shining without guilt. You start loving without hesitation. Because your light isn't a threat, it's medicine. The world doesn't need you to be smaller. It needs you to be honest, alive, and unapologetically radiant. And those who envy you now, one day they'll thank you, because your courage will have shown them what it means to live without fear. They'll realize that your fire was never meant to compete. It was meant to awaken. So never hide, Leo. Never tone down the laughter, the confidence, the creativity, or the love. They are your sacred language. The way your soul prays out loud. Keep shining until your light becomes a mirror for others to see themselves clearly. That's your true legacy: to illuminate without asking permission, to lead without domination, and to love without condition. Because you are the sun, Leo, and the sun does not apologize for shining. It simply rises again and again. If this message spoke to your soul, leave a comment below and share your story. And remember to subscribe to Leo Zodiac Power, the space where every Leo learns to lead with light.